welcome to the Intimates Uncovered podcast show. I'm Ryan.
I'm Lex.
Guys, how you doing today? Today we are going to really dive into something that is real serious. But before we do that, Lex, how you been?
I've been okay. Holidays, you know, are here, and
hey,
it's that time of year.
It's that time of year. You know, I get excited, so I know a lot of people out there, you know, are excited about football, but, you know, along with football, you know, it's one of my favorite seasons is cuffing season. So right about now, if we're looking at the cuffing, I'm gonna pull up my cuffing season schedule. So right now, if you guys are still kind of together, or you still kind of dating, you still sort things out, you should have kind of sorted a few people out. It should be down to like one or two people, particularly one. And if you're down to that one person, you made it through Thanksgiving. So I don't know if you were invited or you were not invited, but
you want to check out?
But right about now is a time where they can make up for it. This is in all of cuffing season. This is key. You got 24 days before Christmas is.
Okay.
So with that being said, you can make up for it at Christmas time. So Christmas time, so make sure you do the right gift and make sure that you know you do it with some heart. You know, just don't buy it with the money. Just make sure it comes with heart as person, because most of the time with gifts and things like that, it's more about the thought and stuff like that.
Definitely want to be personalized. You know, attention to details, everything. So you know.
So real quick, if this is your first time tuning into our podcast show, make sure you guys check us out. If you're listening to the audio version, we're on iTunes, and we're on SoundCloud. This will be up on YouTube and Facebook as well. So make sure you go subscribe and make sure you guys comment and give us feedback. And we always like to, hear your feedback and see what you're thinking. It's a dialogue.
Let us know.
Exactly. So jumping into today's real topic. Today's show is not gonna be like normal. Today we're going a little deep today.
Sure.
And I know when you guys are like, what do you mean? Today is like a special edition of our show. And the reason why is that there's a real serious topic that a lot of people are not talking about. Which a lot of people are not really talking about, but it's becoming more of a, I want to say, a popular thing, not an unpopular thing, but it has become.
It's been brought to light.
It's been brought to light.
Yeah, it's been brought to light.
And I think it's been brought to light. So I think it started with Kanye and Kim having a surrogate kid, a child through having a surrogate mom. Recently, Gabriel Union and Dwayne Wade just had a child. They just had a baby. Yeah, shout out to them. And the one person that we, really don't have a lot of private personal information on was Michelle Obama. She kind of shared.
Yeah, her book actually. She just came out with her book, which is great. It is awesome, and she does.
And the name of it is what?
It's Becoming.
Becoming.
It's a great book. She's a great storyteller.
Okay.
She talks about, her journey a little bit too, towards the end when she's talking about wanting to become a mother and how, difficult it was for her, and that she ended up having to use fertility treatments to really help her conceive her two daughters.
Right.
So, I'm glad that we're talking about this, Ryan, and really speaking on it more, because, it really is like this secret society. It really is. And, this year has been quite a year for me because, I've also experienced a form of traumatic loss in this area, and I myself had fertility challenges and issues, and I actually, I lost my son actually this year as a result to a difficult pregnancy, and I lost him at 21 weeks, and it was really, really tough for my husband and I, and not only did I lose my son, but I also had to have my uterus removed, which prevents me from having children naturally or carrying a child, should I say.
So let's do this before you go in too deep. The first thing I want to say is that I don't know about you guys, but just having the relationship that I had with Lex. You know, I already knew this information before we recorded this podcast, but I think when you hear it again in the capacity of us sharing it with you, it makes it kind of a very sensitive topic. So I really want to take my time to kind of talk about this thing, and I want to talk about the surrogate part. I want to talk about the part about fertility, challenges that men face, that women face. But then I kind of want to go into like more about what happened in your experience, and then kind of pull out the positive that came from the situation, because I feel like Lex took such a painful life event, and she pulled a positive out of it, so that way that what she went through wasn't just with her, but she's able to share with, you know, other women and other men that face, you know, fertility issues. So the first thing is this, you know, the surrogate, just so people don't know, is when
well, it's like the I guess more politically correct terms, like a gestational carrier.
okay.
And they are people that you seek out to help carry your child.
So,
the woman seeks out to
in that process, it could be a couple of different things. It can be the man can donate the sperm and they do the egg or something like that.
So, I mean, there are a lot of different
ways to do it. It could be.
So there are a lot of different things that come about,
Okay.
you know, with this process, and it all just depends because, you know, again, like it's such a big process and there's a lot of elements to it that sometimes you have to determine exactly where is the fertility challenge coming from. Is it coming from the woman? Is it coming from the man? You know, and sometimes there are a lot of different things that can contribute to that, right? So sometimes it may be on both spectrums of the coin. It may be that there's some sort of genetic issue that's preventing, you know, even just the creation of the embryo, or even like when the embryo is actually created, it actually being able to, you know, kind of go through the full process that it needs to go through when it's dividing with the cells. So there's a lot of different things. There may be just issues just actually even conceiving. You know, just with the sperm actually making it to the actual egg. So there's a lot of different things that can come up.
But I guess the biggest thing with this is that if you have a child, if those that are facing challenges, whether it be the male or the female, having a surrogate is has been a solution that.
So surrogacy is ultimately used for when you definitely just for a woman cannot carry the child. So we just, you know, kind of put that out there. So that's generally when we have to go to that option because the woman in the relationship can't carry the child for some reason.
Gotcha. All right, so I want to segue into this, I guess this next part of the topic. So, as Lex shared with us that she faced a challenge and she lost her son and she actually had to deal with a medical procedure with that. So when you hear that, and just like I said, as a friend, you look at it and you can, for me, I'm like lost for words. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes the only thing that you can do from a supportive side is to just kind of just beat it. You know what I mean?
Right, listen, I'm so glad you said that because, you know, one thing that a lot of women who do have fertility challenges have to deal with quite often is those closest to them just saying the wrong things. You know, they don't even mean to offend them.
But they just
don't know. They don't know that, you know, like when you have people come to you saying, so when y'all gonna have children?
Yeah,
you know,
it's very insensitive. They don't know. And you don't want to share it with them, or because then you become shamed. Like, what's wrong with you? And things like that, or what's wrong with him?
And you may not even just feel like going and
it's almost like it's none of your damn business.
It is, and then they think that sometimes these old wives tell, oh, well, if you keep eating this, you should be okay.
Right.
Or, you know, it happens.
Eat some beets.
Exactly. Like,
some beets.
You know, they have their old wives tell say, you know, and they mean these things to be helpful, but they're ultimately deeply hurtful.
I think the best thing that I've come to understand with this situation either with you and in my personal life that I've seen happen is to just be there and just ask if that person needs anything. And the rest of the thoughts and things that you may be thinking, just on this one, just keep it to yourself. Kind of just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just be, you know, if you need. I think that's the easiest thing that how to deal with it. Like, are you okay? I'm here if you need anything. Just being there. I think somebody's presence is more than anything. Like just, you know, having ignorance of information and lack of understanding of how sensitive this is can be, you know, like it can become an issue. But the one thing I do want to turn around with this story is that Lex didn't allow this situation to just come and just be untold or unheard of or unshared. Because Lex is kind of a private person when it comes to that. So when we talked about this, you know, offline, and we decided to, you know, to talk about this on our show, the one thing that brought to my attention is how she handled it. And I really want to applaud her because not only did she had to deal with both the tragic loss of her son and then the medical thing, but Lex turned around and found some positivity in it, and she came up with a project which turned into a book. And the name of the book is called Peace That Supersedes. It's on Amazon right now. And Lex, she wrote this book and she partnered up with a few other females that have experienced similar experiences, and they shared their personal experiences of what they went through and how they dealt with it. So Lex, I want to ask, I feel like I know people probably know and understand what prompted you to write the book, but I guess when did it hit that I need to share this, or I need to write a book, or I need to create something?
Well, when it really hit for me, Brian, was the fact that obviously, you know, I'm a licensed professional counselor, right? So on a large scale, I'm always talking with folks about just issues and helping to support them through those issues. But when it came down to this for me, it was very difficult for me to even go that lens with someone. Even a professional in counseling and therapy is a great tool. It's so useful and helpful, but for some reason, you know, I just thought that what I was going through was so painful and so private and so personal, you know, in that regard of loss, because I lost twice, essentially, you know, and my child and my years, and I didn't feel like I could really talk about it, and then really understand, and then, you know, a lot of times when people don't understand, you know, sometimes they try to pretend, and then that would have bothered me tremendously. So, you know, that is the perspective I guess I was essentially coming from as I kind of continue to seek out my own healing.
I got you.
You know.
So the project and the book were the healing. That was the therapy.
That was my therapy.
That was the therapy, and it was therapeutic for you and the other women that participated.
Absolutely. So I did, yeah. So you know, speaking on how just common this is.
Well, you know what? And I feel like this is coming throughout us even doing the show. I feel like that might be something that is a special, like, therapy that people should seek out. Meaning that you deal with relationships and day-to-day things. But I'm saying, I think if women they face these kind of challenges, that you should be the person they come to. So I want to kind of let people know, like, if you guys, you know, ran into some of the things that Lex ran into, which were, you had a situation where what's the correct term for? I mean, I know they have different terms for, but when you lose a child.
So the book, let me clarify the name of the book. So the name of the book is Peace That Supersedes. It's stories, scripture, and self-care for women dealing with infertility, pregnancy loss, or the loss of a child. Okay. So there's a lot of, again, buckets that go along with fertility challenges, you know, and even just loss. You know, so I think that when it comes down to this particular issue, just fertility and losing pregnancies, you know, this gets painful really fast. You know, and then for a lot of different reasons, not only just on the woman side of things, but I want to share like on the male side of things too, because the men that are with, these women or in these relationships, are also faced with these challenges and frustrations.
And they have to actually bear that pain.
And they have to bear that pain. And they also have to, so at times, especially from my husband, side of things, having to be strong for me,
right.
And himself,
right.
And also vent, because him and I made the conscious choice that we were just going to allow ourselves to grieve,
right.
however that came,
right.
and be accepting of that. But even with that, I'm sure he still was very selective and reserved, and
as
how,
a man.
exactly, and how he did things,
yeah.
because he didn't want me to just completely lose it in front of him. And it's been tough, Ryan. Like, there have been days where it has really impacted us, our intimacy, you know what I mean, like our physical intimacy.
Right.
It's challenging.
So when you say challenging, I'm not trying to pry.
I think you're trying to pry.
No. Honestly,
you're a pry.
I'm a pry, but I'm not trying to pry. So let me kind of get this. So the whole thing with the intimacy, I was just talking about the physical part. Like, is it because
the physical part?
So on the physical part, is a challenge because I'm still feeling some type of way and I'm not kind of in the mood type of thing. Like, I can't, like, it's hard for me to feel like one of the terms that I refer to all the time, like a freak in the bed or this and that. Like, I don't feel nasty right now. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, you're right. A lot of it is mental, and some of it is too just, you're not liking your body. You know what I mean? Like, your body can't perform this task that you've been sort of,
right.
been gifted naturally to do.
So how do you want me to go? So
it's frustrating. And then on top of that, having to wait because of some of the medical things that are going. You have to heal. You have surgery. You have like these things. And the first time him and I made love after what happened.
Notice she didn't have sex. They made love.
We made love.
All right, that's serious. We're gonna have to throw some music on something. Well, go ahead.
But it was really sad, and it was very sad.
I can imagine.
Because that was we really, I say this in the book too, how we felt like, our love couldn't produce anymore.
Right.
That moment we lived for, that climax,
right.
felt much different. That
right.
high
wasn't
as high.
It wasn't the I think when you think of the sexual capacity of having sex, and when you're married and you're as one, there's no restrictions.
Right.
And normally there would be I want to say awkwardness, but I want to say there's an awareness that you have that, well, if you do this, it may end up this. The fact of not having to be aware of that, to just being like, there's no more awareness, it kind of, it was an awkward moment that you kind of had to kind of like.
Yeah, it's awkward because, you don't care. Like, well, at least some couples do some sort of plan out their pregnancies and things like that, or whatever. But you're right, that feeling of, we may have to be caught.
Right,
we're trying to.
I'm ovulating or I'm not. It's one of those things.
It's one of those things.
I think, I honestly, like, just with us just doing our show, with doing actually this special edition of our show, I think it's a lot of women that probably want to reach out to you.
Yeah, please, by all means, inbox me.
DM, like, and real quick, it's
Ask
Lex, on Instagram and Twitter and all that.
Facebook.
Yeah, and DM. I know that for me, I'm probably the support system. Yeah, because I think I could just be good and supportive. I think we need to shed some light, and I think that's another show. But I think I'm gonna find to do some research on some guys that can't reproduce or have fertility issues, and kind of bring that to light, because I know that kind of probably impacts their intimacy physically with them, and then at the same time mentally, because you know what I mean. You gotta have these conversations, and you gotta kind of deal with these feelings of things. It's so natural for us to do the sexual things and have the expectation of, or have the gift of having a child, and then to have to not be able to use that gift. The question is, what do you do on a daily basis to deal with that? Like, what I want to ask is, what do you do on a daily basis, and what 3 things would you tell any other woman that has gone through this?
On a daily basis, pretty much it is a day by day thing for me. I literally have to. I'm a very spiritual person, so I have to really seek out prayer.
So you're saying
I pray.
Day to day, I need a prayer.
Day to day, I need a prayer.
Okay,
and
so y'all hear that? That's the first thing. The first thing is to go in that closet, get on your knees, stop what you're doing. It can be before you leave out in the morning, whatever it is, you gotta spend time.
Right. So that is what I do.
That's what you do.
I do. I pray. I try to just always remain positive. For me and my husband, one of our favorite things is, that all living has hope.
Okay.
And, so if you have a single strand of hope, you never know what's possible and what can happen. So I always just try to also just glean to the positive, that even though my uterus wasn't moved, I do still have my ovaries, and my ovaries still have house eggs.
Right.
And with that being said, I have the potential for what like a Gabriel Union has done,
Right.
or what a Kim has done, and I can potentially seek out surrogacy. So I try to focus on the positive.
Well, keep us posted on what you decide, because,
Absolutely.
like I said, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of women out there, and just from I always listen to different podcasts. I don't think I've heard too many podcasts that kind of touch on this subject, so I think that's why it's important for us to touch on it.
And I actually have, just to give a few statistics, about 12% of women actually have these sort of challenges, right?
That's a lot.
That's a lot. 12% either experience some sort of infertility challenges or have experienced pregnancy loss or, termination of pregnancy. And for men, it's 8% have some sort of fertility challenge.
So just hearing that information, the first thing that comes to mind is the psychological and emotional things that kind of proceed when you have that information, because we all were created equal, but if something that's a natural gift of mine is not available, you know what I mean? Like, I have to try to figure out how to turn that into a positive thing. So you gave two great things. I think we got one more thing that I want you to share. So just recapping. One, you said prayer. Prayer is necessary. Daily prayer is necessary. That's step 1. Step 2, you gotta have hope.
Yeah.
And even if it's the slightest, smallest thing of hope, I think that is it. So one more thing, the third thing that you would kind of share with somebody that they should do, like with this. Can I suggest something? Even though I'm asking you, I feel like this might seem like to be a good answer. You tell me if I'm wrong. Seek out help.
Sure, absolutely.
I think seeking out, for you, being that you're a therapist, you felt that there was not a therapist that may have had the exact thing that you have gone through from this, because the percentage is very low. But for other women, it's easier for them to come and talk to you, because you kind of.
Let me clarify, because that's not what it is. Because I don't want people to think that you shouldn't go to therapy because someone hasn't experienced what you experienced.
Well, I'm saying
I know, but I want to make sure I'm perfectly clear about that.
Okay.
Because someone can take that and apply it in that direction.
Right.
And that's not what I'm saying, because even though a therapist or someone, a professional hasn't necessarily experienced what you experienced, doesn't mean that they have never felt or can process those emotions that you are feeling from that circumstances. I had foolishly convinced myself, to be honest with you, that I need to keep it quiet because no one, or not many people, experience this. You know what I mean? And I find myself, or have found myself, trying to be strong for other people, even when I told them. You know what I mean? Because it's awkward.
Right.
It's very awkward, and so people don't know what to say. Because they don't hear it that often, because no one really talks about it like that.
Right.
And yet there are these women that are suffering silently, with these challenges, and we've somehow too, I just want to say this too real quick, I say this also in the book, that like we really convinced ourselves that our stories should be kept quiet, that they need to be like kept away.
Wow.
And I've been trying to really figure out what that mentality is, right? And a lot of times I can say from the women of color side of things, sometimes, culturally we've been taught that, what kind of goes on in our house stays in our house. You know what I mean, or whatever. And like, so sometimes we're just very, we're very selective.
No, I agree with like what happens in the house, it stays in the house.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the details that need to stay in the house, like the private details. I'm saying this is something that is affecting
exactly. So that's what I mean, and that's what I'm saying. When you're saying so, and that's what I mean. So I think sometimes we confuse that statement of what goes on in the house should stay in this house,
right,
in regards to we kind of streamline that to everything. Should I say? It seems like sometimes when that's not necessarily the case. Like situations like this, there's nothing, like you said, shameful. There's nothing wrong with discussing or being more vocal about something like this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like intimate things between you and your partner.
Right.
You don't necessarily, like you're right, don't always have to share with the world. You need to be very selective in who you share those things with.
That is true.
But when situations like this happen, they happen and they can always be used as a tool to help the next person do it. And so if we can view it from that lens and not feel, be lost in our own feeling of deficit, then I feel like it can be so impactful.
Well, listen, I know that just hearing about this, hearing about this topic is really real, and we hope you guys really, really, really enjoyed the conversation and really just first thing, like I said, I normally thank you guys for tuning in, but I want to thank you for kind of sharing it, because I think this episode is something I really learned a lot about. And I was kind of, I don't want to say in a blind, but I think sometimes we live in, I said it before, I think we live in these bubbles, and life goes on outside our bubble.
That's right.
And then when something, affects inside our bubble, sometimes we're lost to how to cope and how to deal and how to kind of, how to handle that situation. So the biggest I guess the biggest thing that I wanted to come from out of this show is that people understand what goes on. Once you get to that intimate space with people, is that you do face challenges like fertility and reproduction challenges, and I think being that it affected our circle and inside our bubble, what happened with Lex, it just allowed us to share it with you. So we hope this was helpful for you guys.
I want to say that I really appreciate your support during that time. And you really were also just a good friend during that time, and I appreciated that you checked in without also just you were very cautious in how you approached it, and handled it with care. So I appreciate that, and I just want to reinforce and just say once again, you never know what your fellow sister is going through, or the person next to you. You may have someone in your family that's going through this, and it may be even you going through this.
Right.
You never know. So please be cautious, and handle people with care when you're talking to them about just their family plans, and don't assume that people just are choosing not to have children. You just never know what is going on with someone, or what they're recovering from, or healing from, or dealing with privately.
Especially if you know that person maybe wants kids,
and
they don't have kids by a certain period of time. You just kind of just gotta be a little bit sensitive to that. You know what I mean? So
and not everything. The end all be all. Sometimes we feel like we see people, we have to ask them these questions, and really start. I heard one time, and this is true. Just start asking people, how are you doing? Are you happy? How's life? That's it. You don't have to. So when you gonna have kids? When you get married? I think these are just things we innately feel like we have to ask.
I feel like that's a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
Like when I see him next time, somebody asks him that question.
Yeah, you going back to school? Like we think we have to just have
You know what?
questions.
I think I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that. to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm guilty of that when it comes to maybe people under 21. Because I'm just trying to get a fit and feel of like where they're at in their life. Like, you know, if I know they're in school, I'm not necessarily asking the question because I'm trying to pry. For me, I'm either trying to help or be supportive.
Well, you start asking them, have you found your passion yet? How about that?
Now that's the truth. Now that came from what's my book? Purpose Driven.
Purpose Driven Life.
Yeah, Purpose Driven Life. That was. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That was a question that my mom actually wrote that book for me, and that's a great book.
It is
a good book. So real quick, if you guys want to reach Lex,
you can reach me at Ask Lex on IG, Facebook, and
for me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Brian Whitfield. I think on Instagram I'm _ Brian Whitfield _ So.
Also, you know, I did want to say the book one more time, just in case someone knows someone who is going through that. Please, definitely. It has stories of not just myself, but 2 other women, you know, who have had challenges. But we also talk about some great tools to help get you through those challenges and keep you inspired and hopeful. And that's Peace That Supersedes, women dealing with infertility, pregnancy loss, and loss of a child.
So listen, we want to thank you guys for tuning into the special edition to the Intimate Uncovered podcast, and always we want you guys to stay connected. All right.